Welcome to Loyola Marymount University for the 113th commencement exercises. Faculty Senate President, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Brendan Smith, is leading today's procession with the University Mace. The tradition dates back to the earliest universities of the Middle Ages. The University Mace honors more than 100 years of academic excellence at LMU and celebrates the 500-year tradition of Jesuit education. The handle was fabricated from acacia wood, symbolizing humanity's enduring strength. Its three asymmetrical curves represent our sponsoring religious orders: the Society of Jesus, the Religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary, and the Congregation of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange. The sculpted flames are inspired by St. Ignatius's desire to create a brighter world. Nestled in the flames is a globus cruciger, which signifies our students, their formation, and their impact, intertwined with our Catholic mission and identity. The top of the mace features the university's ceremonial mark and seal. Graduate and LMU Loyola Law School class of 2025, please come forward.
Good morning. Yeah, all right. Please be seated. My name is Thomas Poon, and I'm LMU's Executive Vice President, Provost, and President-elect. On behalf of the university community, especially our new graduates, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Loyola Marymount University. I also welcome those who could not be with us today but are watching via our webcast. As part of the university's recognition of our history, location, and our relationship to the indigenous communities in Los Angeles, we acknowledge the Tongva peoples as the traditional land caretakers of the Los Angeles Basin and Southern Channel Islands, otherwise known as Tovangar, and the presence of LMU on this traditional, ancestral, and unceded land. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live, learn, study, and create at LMU. While we honor our students this morning, please remember that until President Snyder confers the degrees at the end of the ceremony, each student is still a student and not yet a graduate. You get it. Please remain in your seats until all names are read and President Snyder confers the degrees near the end of our ceremony. As we celebrate and recognize the dedication and academic achievements of our graduates today, I'm especially pleased to welcome LMU Loyola Law School joining our graduate ceremony. On this joyous occasion, as our newly elected Pope Leo XIV celebrates his inaugural Mass, we are reminded of the global church's shared spirit of renewal and hope. And I am grateful that Reverend Wayne Negrete of the Society of Jesus and chaplain at LMU Loyola Law School's campus ministry will deliver the invocation. So please stand for the invocation and the singing of the national anthem.
Let us be still, silent, and aware of the present moment, trusting that God is lovingly embracing us. Loving and life-giving God, Spirit dwelling in each of us and in all your creation, we call upon you this morning to unite us as your faithful people as we celebrate the great academic, professional, and personal achievements of our graduating students of our LMU graduate schools. We thank you, Lord, for your presence and action in the lives of our graduating students. You have graced them with a passion for knowledge, a resilience to excel in their studies and in their experiential learning amid our many social and economic challenges, along with their own personal and family struggles. You have inspired them to search for truth, to uphold high ethical standards, to work for justice, and to respect the dignity of every person. You have drawn them deeper into their unique professional calling, deeper into community, deeper into the meaning of life, and most of all, deeper into yourself. We also thank you for their loving families and friends, their dedicated professors, administrators, and professional staff, and the generous benefactors of this university, all who have inspired, guided, and supported these graduating students. And today, O Lord, we give you special thanks for President Timothy Law Snyder and his 10 years of outstanding servant leadership of our university. Pour out your abundant love and blessings upon President Snyder and his wife, Carol Costello, as they begin their new and exciting chapter in their lives. Keep them always close to you and close to us. O God, as we hear the name of each graduate called out, and we see the beauty of their joyful faces as they receive their diploma, we share in your joy and your hope that they continue to become all that you desire them to be, people for and with others. May all that you are accomplishing in them inspire others to believe in a brighter world. Amen.
Please join Julia Sautel, who earned a BA in music with a concentration in contemporary styles and practices, for the national anthem. Julia?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Julia. Please be seated. As we begin the formal proceedings, I acknowledge the parents, families, friends, and spouses, as well as our faculty for all that they have contributed to our graduates. I ask the class of 2025 to give them a big round of applause. And now I'm pleased to present to you Timothy Law Snyder, the 16th president of Loyola Marymount University.
Executive Vice President and Provost Poon, soon to be President Poon, Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer Ray, Trustee Chair Paul Viviano, members of the LMU Board of Trustees, members of the LMU Board of Regents, members of the President's Cabinet, school and college deans, members of our extraordinary faculty, student development professionals, campus ministers, staff and administrators, GSLMU President Jasmine Nicole, physicist, best-selling author, and science communicator extraordinaire, Brian Greene, siblings, children, friends of the class of 2025, tíos y abuelos de la clase de 2025, parents of the class of 2025, and members of the graduate and LMU Loyola Law School class of 2025. Welcome to the 113th commencement exercises of Loyola Marymount University. Today is a glorious day. Graduate and law class of 2025, today is our day to honor each of you, your accomplishments, and your dedication to furthering your education. And this is an endeavor that embodies love, hope, and profound trust in the future. As we look toward that future, we also usher in a new tradition. We joyfully welcome LMU Loyola Law School and our Westchester and our Playa Vista graduates. We are thankful for your presence here. And I am thrilled to gather together our 3 LMU campuses for our commencement exercises because it showcases the breadth and depth of your knowledge and the collective promise you represent as leaders, as advocates, as change makers. Each of you has brought passion and courage to our beloved university. Passion for your chosen pathways and the intricacies and jargon that come with them, and the courage to shift the paradigms of your respective fields. To this expertise, each of you has contributed your collaborative spirit. You've contributed a devotion to critical inquiry and a resilience that will carry you far beyond the classroom and the laboratory. Your achievements are not without sacrifice. For some, this meant returning to school after years in other commitments. For others, it meant crossing continents to be here. And I know many of you juggle the demands of familial and professional life with the late nights, with the long hours of graduate school, steadfast in your determination to reach your goals. You are guided by what we call the magis, and that is the restless thirst for more, to which our founder, St. Ignatius, calls us. And you have now done so, and done so boldly, choosing to spend this stretch of your academic and vocational journey in pursuit of a whole person education that indeed seeks to find God, and frequently does, in all things. This is the ethos that distinguishes our graduate and law students, a desire to embrace creativity, integrity, and authenticity in all that you do. You have enriched the university community with a spectrum of life experiences. That's why diversity is good. It's spectral, like light, like what has nourished the entirety of life throughout its existence. And we are made better through your talents, wisdom, and dedication. In turn, I hope that you have been emboldened by the knowledge that you have a home here at LMU, surrounded by mentors, surrounded by colleagues who have nurtured your myriad gifts. This is my last commencement exercises, and I am honored that I can graduate alongside you, so we're going to do that together. Graduate class of 2025, LMU Loyola Law School class of 2025, having been formed by an LMU education, you are uniquely prepared to inspire and innovate in the spaces that are most in need of exemplary individuals, and you are equipped to meet those challenges and triumph. The day of glory is upon us, your day, and we are proud to celebrate with you. Graduate and LMU Law School class of 2025. Congratulations. And on the count of three, we're going to do a Go Lions. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Go Lions! Enjoy yourselves.
In mid-April, at the faculty recognition ceremony, and just this Friday, during the LMU Loyola Law School hooding ceremony, the university honored this year's recipients of our highest level faculty awards. These outstanding members of our faculty were recognized for their extraordinary contributions to scholarship, teaching, and service. Please refer to the commencement app for a list of the honorees. Each year, the university bestows honorary degrees on persons who symbolize, in an outstanding manner, a record of scholarship or service that contributes to the public good. In honoring these persons, the university recognizes their significant contributions to creating a brighter world. I now invite Paul S. Viviano, Chair of the Board of Trustees, to introduce our honorary degree recipients.
Good morning, LMU Lion families. Sister Mary Beth Ingham is the celebrated theologian, philosopher, congregational leader, and educator whose life and work exemplify the mission of Loyola Marymount University. A double alumna of LMU, Sister Mary Beth has spent decades advancing scholarship, spiritual inquiry, and moral leadership rooted in the Catholic, Jesuit, and Marymount traditions. A member of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange, California, Sister Mary Beth has served as a congregational leader and a devoted educator at LMU and the Franciscan School of Theology. As a member of LMU's Board of Trustees, she provides visionary guidance and integrity with grace. Her leadership has left a lasting mark on the university and the many communities she has served. Her groundbreaking scholarship in medieval philosophy and Franciscan studies has helped shape contemporary theological and philosophical discourse. Through influential works, including 2 books on John Duns Scotus, she has championed the Franciscan intellectual tradition and the centrality of beauty as a pathway to moral and aesthetic understanding. A compassionate mentor and a respected voice in academic and spiritual circles alike, Sister Mary Beth has inspired generations of students and colleagues through her wisdom, her humility, and unwavering pursuit of truth, justice, and human dignity. For her exceptional contributions to scholarship, service, and the LMU community, Loyola Marymount University is proud to bestow on Sister Mary Elizabeth Ingham the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
You want to see beauty erupt. Walk with Mary Beth Ingham and let her talk about her students and what they are learning. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the state of California and by the trustees of Loyola Marymount University, I now confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to that degree. Congratulations, LMU Dr. Mary Elizabeth Ingham. Please welcome LMU Dr. Mary Beth Ingham of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Orange.
I have to read this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for this great honor, President Schneider, Chair Viviano, and trustees. Well, many things have changed since I was a student here, and some things have changed since I was a member of the faculty. The mission of this university has not changed. This mission, grounded in the Catholic intellectual tradition and Catholic social teaching, continues to inform, inspire, and guide all we do. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to our graduates from the Westchester campus and Loyola Law School. This is your great day of accomplishment. May God bless you all as you continue to bring your gifts, your skills, and your talents to a wounded world that is in such need of your gifts now more than ever. Thank you.
And now for our second honorary degree and this morning's commencement speaker, a lifelong learner committed to intellectual inquiry, educational access, and academic excellence. Brian Greene is a leading theoretical physicist and sought-after communicator of groundbreaking scientific concepts. Described by the Washington Post as the single best explainer of abstruse concepts in the world today, Greene is the author of 4 acclaimed books that have collectively sold millions of copies worldwide. His latest best-selling release, Until the End of Time, is a breathtaking exploration of the cosmos and our quest to understand it, and was named to one of the 100 notable books of 2020 by the New York Times. Greene's books have been adapted into 2 Emmy and Peabody Award-winning Nova miniseries, both of which he hosted. Along with journalist Tracy Day, he is the co-founder of the World Science Festival, whose flagship events in New York and Australia have reached over 2 million people in person and more than 50 million experiencing its program online. Greene is a frequent television guest, having appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert many times, and even playing himself in an episode of The Big Bang Theory. He has also made cameo appearances in several Hollywood films, including Frequency, Maze, and The Last Mimsy. A Harvard graduate and a Rhodes Scholar, he currently serves as director of Columbia University's Center for Theoretical Physics. As a scholar, teacher, and communicator, Greene has dedicated himself to uncovering the wondrous mysteries of the universe while promoting equitable educational access through his prolific writing and media appearances. Through his radical openness to the world around us, Greene embodies the Catholic, Jesuit, and Marymount intellectual tradition of immersing ourselves in the sacramentality of the world and finding God in all things. For his remarkable achievements, Loyola Marymount University is proud to bestow on Brian Greene the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the state of California and by the trustees of Loyola Marymount University, I now confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to that degree. Congratulations, LMU Dr. Brian Greene. Graduates, families, and friends, I am pleased to introduce our commencement speaker, the one who extols exospheric excellence to the nth degree, the man who is largely comfortable at 10 to the negative 35 Planck distance meters, the incredible LMU Dr. Brian Greene.
Yeah, 10 to the minus 35 is close enough, so thank you so much. What an honor. President Snyder, President-elect, and Provost Poon, Executive Vice President Ray, and Chair Viviano, families, friends, faculty, distinguished guests, and of course all of you, the 2025 graduate and law school classes of Loyola Marymount University. It is my great honor to share this special day with all of you, and I trust that at least a few of you remember a film from a while back featuring a sophisticated master chef who's also a rat. And in that film, there's also a curmudgeonly critic named Anton Ego, who extols the virtue of what he refers to as fresh, clear, and well-seasoned perspective. Perspective which in the film ultimately profoundly shapes that character's view of the culinary world. Well, this morning, I would like to share with you what I consider to be fresh, clear, and well-seasoned perspective, not relevant to culinary matters per se, but rather relevant to our sense of who we are and what matters most. It's a perspective that I and others too call the cosmic perspective. It's many generations in the making, but it really began to take flight 100 years ago this very decade, in the 1920s, when two advances catapulted our understanding forward. These were quantum mechanics, giving us insight into the smallest things, molecules, atoms, subatomic particles, and also the general theory of relativity, giving us insight into the largest things, stars, galaxies, the universe as a whole. Now, it was Albert Einstein who played a key role in each of these developments. And Einstein, he had his own iconic way of providing perspective. One saying that there are only two things that might be infinite: space and human stupidity. And Einstein added he wasn't sure about space. Now, that remark, humorous as it is, can really be viewed in a sense as the beginning of the cosmic perspective, a view in which we leverage our insight into the universe to shed unmatched illumination on the lives that we live in the here and now, allowing us all to grasp how we fit into a larger cosmological picture, how we fit into the grand expanse of space and time, or as Einstein himself said it in a more serious vein, those for whom the emotion of the unfathomable is a stranger, those who can no longer take in science fully and stand in rapt awe, Einstein said they are as good as dead. Now, a little Einsteinian hyperbole for sure, but nevertheless, as we briefly tour the cosmic perspective this morning, I implore all of you, the living, to allow these ideas to seep in fully, all the more as we recognize, as I'm sure some of you already know, that while it was Einstein's insights that laid the groundwork for our understanding of the cosmos, it was a Jesuit priest named Georges Lemaitre, also had a PhD in physics from MIT, who deserves the lion's share of the credit, because it was Lemaitre who first used Einstein's math, not Einstein. Lemaitre used Einstein's math to catch a glimpse of the possibility that space might be expanding, a result that Einstein called abominable. Because Einstein, he had a philosophical prejudice that the universe has always been here, that it is fixed, eternal, static, and unchanging. But Lemaitre, he was not intimidated by the world's greatest scientist. He pursued this idea, and just a few years later, astronomical observations that took place 57 miles from where I am now standing at Mount Wilson Observatory established that space is expanding, revealing that our dynamic universe began 13,800,000,000 years ago, a duration that is so enormous that it is hard to understand what it really means and how we all fit in. But a while ago, the great astronomer Carl Sagan gave us an insightful way of thinking about it, which goes like this. Imagine with me, imagine that all of cosmic history from the beginning until today is compressed into a single calendar year in which each day on that calendar represents about 40 million years. Then in this scheme, the Big Bang happened on January 1st. By January 26th of the cosmic calendar, gravity pulled together particles into the first stars. And this process, repeating over and over again by May 15th, yields all the stars of our Milky Way galaxy. And by September 4th, some leftover particles coalesce into the early planets, including our planet Earth. And by December 3rd, some of the most refined collections of these particles give rise to the first multicellular organisms on Earth. And through evolution by natural selection, by Christmas Day, December 25th, we have the first dinosaurs and the first modern humans. Well, they appear at 11:40 p.m. on New Year's Eve. And from here, the rest is a flash. 11:44 p.m., we domesticate fire. 11:58, the first cave paintings. At 11:59 and 49 seconds, we invent the first alphabet, which means all of recorded history takes place in the last 10 seconds. I mean, think about what that means, right? 11:59-54, the rise of the Buddha. 11:59-55, the fall of Rome. 11:59-58, the Renaissance. And finally, 11:59-59, 1 second to the stroke of midnight, we invent modern science, allowing us to figure this all out, with a key part played by those astronomical observations establishing that there was a Big Bang, made by Edwin Hubble, an Oxford-trained lawyer who changed careers to become an astronomer, which to me establishes there's hope for everybody. Said with the greatest of affection to the law school students. Now, accompanying these cosmological highlights were vital cognitive developments that allowed us to not only figure out our past, but at least in broad brushstrokes to predict our future. And so let's now turn to that future, and as we do, a new principle comes into play. It's called the second law of thermodynamics, but for our purposes, it simply says that in the fullness of time, all things fall apart. So let's now look at that cosmological dissolution. And the timescales involved are extraordinarily long. So we need a new metaphor, not one based on time like the cosmic calendar, but rather one based on space, on distance. So imagine that every floor of the Empire State Building represents a duration that's 10 times that of the previous floor. So the ground floor, 1 year, next floor, 10 years, next floor, 100, and so forth. Now, in this scheme, everything from the Big Bang until today extends to just above the 10th floor. And from here, we climb exponentially far into the future. By floor 11, the sun will swell to over 200 times its current size, engulfing the inner planets, possibly the Earth. By floor 12, the ever-quickening expansion of space will drive the distant galaxies away faster than the speed of light, leaving us floating in a sea of darkness. By Floor 14, most stars will use up all their nuclear fuel. They will fade to black. By Floor 20, if the Earth wasn't swallowed up by the swelling sun on Floor 11, the Earth will now spiral into the dead sun, having lost energy through gravitational radiation. By Floor 30, stars will spiral into their galaxy's central black hole. By Floor 38, protons, the heart of matter, will likely disintegrate, showing once and for all that diamonds surely are not forever. By Floor 50, any thinking structure that happens to still exist will burn up in the entropic waste, the heat created by the very process of thought itself. One more thought and that thinking structure will fry. Between floors 68 and the peak of the Empire State Building, black holes, the one remaining macroscopic structure in the universe, they will disintegrate. They will evaporate through a process that Stephen Hawking taught us about back in 1974, disintegrating into a bath of particles that will waft through an ever larger, ever colder, ever quieter cosmos. As Beckett said, they give birth astride a grave. The light gleams an instant, then it is night once more. Or Nabokov, existence is a brief crack of light between two eternities of darkness. So what then do we make of all this? Well, one way of looking at it is that in your darkest hour, however bleak and insignificant your life may have seemed, you now realize it is yet more bleak and insignificant. But the cosmic perspective, set against the entire timeline of the universe. Think about how utterly unlikely it is that you exist. Think about the nearly infinite collection of quantum processes stretching from the Big Bang until today, processes each of which could have turned out that way instead of this way, yielding a universe in which neither you nor I would exist. And yet, against those astounding odds, for a brief moment of time, you exist, as do I. We have each won the most improbable cosmic lottery. Now, look, there are some who would say, there are some who fervently believe that this cosmic lottery fits within a larger, overarching plan that goes beyond the physical. Is that true? I don't know, of course. If it is, it only makes reality that much more wondrous. But focusing on the physical, the fact that we are just collections of particles guided by physical law, to me this compels a radical shift in perspective to a celebration of the fact that our particular particulate arrangement endows us with enviable powers, right? We can think about the past. We can imagine the future. We can take in the universe with mind and body, with reason and emotion, allowing us to figure out astonishing things like how stars shine and light travels, how black holes form and time elapses, allowing for creative achievements from the Ode to Joy finale to the B minor Mass, from the Mona Lisa to Starry Night, from Hamlet to Madame Bovary, all created by minds like yours, like mine, that are just collections of particles that nevertheless can and have and most assuredly will continue to create great beauty, to illuminate great mystery, to experience great wonder, and the fact that bags of particles that were forged in the deep interiors of stars and are guided by universal laws of physics can do all that. should give us all a deep sense of connection, a kind of cosmic communion, a sense that I can summarize with one word: gratitude. Gratitude for being a small, if transient, part of this wondrous unfolding. Gratitude for our capacity to come together in groups that at their best allow us to each realize our potential. Gratitude for our capacity for courage, like that of George Lemaitre, to stand up to authority, to not accept easy answers, and when necessary, to fight for what we believe in. Gratitude, that is, for human existence, for fragile, delicate, difficult, challenging, painful, exhausting, beautiful, exquisite, transcendent human existence, however brief, however evanescent, however fleeting that existence may be. So congratulations to you all, and boldly go forth with compassion, with courage, with gratitude, and with perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, LMU, Dr. Green, for your presence and beautiful words this morning. We now award LMU's graduate and law degrees. President Snyder and Chair Viviano will greet the new graduates. Candid photographs will be taken of each student receiving their diploma cover. I ask the graduates not to congregate on stage, but to return to their seats and remain seated until the candidates of all colleges and schools have been recognized. I also request that our guests remain seated for the duration of the presentation so that all may have a view of the proceedings. I now ask Dean Brietta Clark to present the candidates for degrees from the Loyola Law School.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This is a beautiful day, and it is such an honor to be with you. Candidates for the degree of Master of Tax Law and Master of Science in Legal Studies, it is my honor to present you. Will the candidates please come forward?
Jules Fietti Pape. Edwin Eugene Drawn.
Valeria Perro.
Kay Villarreal.
Kate Abigail Escobar.
Yasmin Lysandra Oliveira.
Kaylee Alyssa Moten. Catherine Ann McNeil.
Congratulations to our Master of Tax Law and Master of Science in Legal Studies candidates. I am now honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Taxation. Will the candidates please come forward?
John P. Hannon III. Stephanie Yuna Yang.
Danielle Patricia Barger. Crystal McDonough. Daria Krutikova. Daniel Gall. Evelyn España Martinez Nunez. Julio Cesar Cicero Marin. Octavio Gutierrez Salcedo. Julia Braga Noguera. Ana Garcia.
Larissa Harrison. Juan Carlos Rodriguez Munoz. Ksenia Yarashchenko. Maria Kurnosova. Etsubdink Workine Gebeyehu.
Congratulations to the Master of Laws and Taxation candidates. Now I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws.
Mikita Litovchenko.
Nadia Lopteva.
Agath Lemoine.
Cristel Zamora Garcia.
Sergey Evagyan.
Yara Bitar.
Samber Sepe.
Hussam Bader.
Nelly Petrosian.
Ashley Lynette Ramirez.
Andrea Godinez.
Alexander Korchahin.
Jessica Squina.
Masan Degani Karimi.
Jamie Kate Ramulia Bayeo.
Terrence Yip.
Anastasia Dubb. Lika Basmanova. Diana Abovyan. Ksenia Kochkova. Liana Masajian. Robert Masocha. Douglas Merlini. Andrea Brambilla.
Congratulations to the Master of Laws candidates. Finally, I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. Will the candidates please come forward?
It's fine. I know now better. Angel Guerra.
Jacob Castleman.
Veronica Schneider.
Cassandra Rico.
Christy Margaris.
Nilufar Y. Sheikpour.
Marlene Salas.
Alize R. Salon.
Kaylee Brianne Rivanis.
Eddie Abimael Arce Elias.
Emma Astrup.
Brendan Scott Brown.
Eleni Kotsis.
Jacob Broman.
Emma Colby Welch.
Alexandra Nicole Ardy.
Alexis Wallace.
Caroline Rodriguez.
Jonathan Rakulich.
Sofia Mejia.
Saba Amid.
Diane Gu.
Karina DeBiglio.
Courtney Lara Schwan.
Paul Zhang.
Capricia Camper Young.
Lauren Elizabeth Lappin.
Danisha Lyles Vidal.
Edward John Damster IV.
Jorge Villanueva.
Mohammed Mansour Shah.
Stephanie Myers.
Robert Francisco Kamsner.
Molly K. Thorpe.
Ray George Mueller.
Nicole Michelle Duarte Saravia.
Stacy Renee Millsap.
Alexis D. Singh.
Madeline Elise K.
Mariam Bacaloni.
Mariana Isabel Gonzalez Davila.
Violet Marie Flux.
Stephen C. Gonzalez.
Madison Dakota Korami.
Evangelina Pogosian.
Crystal Elise Ciara Mitaro.
Daniela S. Majarian.
Bradley Collins.
Colin P. Ryan.
Daphne Nicole Carrillo.
Natalie Zadikian.
Hannah Binyan Upshaw.
Siran Kiosian.
Jacqueline Arkush.
Connor Smith.
Anna Strasburger.
Isabel Ortiz Louise.
Jordan Velosa.
Shani Abadi.
Marissa Harigi.
Yaneli M. Guajardo.
Isabella Vialta.
Chelsea Edith Montiel.
Genevieve Romero.
Reina Lee.
Mariana Rodriguez.
Isabel Bettina Lopez de Velasquez.
Stephanie Silveda.
Isaac Hahn.
Marie Sophie Kishishian.
Kevin Zhang.
Nicole Agakani.
Chloe Marie Von Helmont.
Savannah Zadorian.
Victoria Moss.
Caroline Farahani.
Nolan S. Talavu. Julian Alexander.
In Kemakunam, Amanda Osemeka.
Mark Dialba.
Lale Tagdis.
Rebecca Betsamedin.
Nellie Salim.
Ian L. Bella.
Jasmine Gutierrez.
Nathaniel Acosta.
Zachary Keenan.
Jamie S. Nahomu.
Baylor Perry.
Joseph A. Harrell.
Stephanie Iareta.
Brandon Meshadian.
Abby Martin.
Morty Joey Sedian.
Aditi Vora.
Samantha L. Dietrich.
Leonid Mushagian.
Shreya Kanakala.
Edgar Kachatrian.
Caroline Rose Rothens.
Michael Avagian.
Randy Ways.
David Alikanian.
Anna Marshad.
Daniel Lahaviam. Ethan Polis.
Erica Calvagna.
Tanya Agalian.
Patricia Horry.
Leorit Cohenbosch.
Patrick Brian Levi.
Sophia Monasabian.
Adam Harrison Garfinkel.
Emery Ellison.
Matthew Stephen Lamantia.
Kyle Coates.
Kayla Hausner.
Bryce Blakewell.
Matthew Brensecki.
Mary Dolan.
Kristen J. Garcia.
David Gamble.
Morgan Garnhart.
Nika Pakravan.
Miranda Regina Mendez.
Samantha Moulton.
Dina Paula Argueta.
Paige Marie Hayase.
Stephen George Togmasian.
Hannah Grace Marquise.
Andrew J. Paczynski.
Daniel Brower.
Andrew Paczynski.
Austin Machado.
Nestor Marquez.
Christina Guadalupe Tenorio.
Nicole Ring.
Rachel Duarte.
Monique N. Toby.
Alina Ishkanian.
Winston Chin.
Diana Kosarovian.
Jacob Pfeffer.
Marine Vardinian.
Soraya Kamali Nafar.
Hasmik Merabian.
Layla Naziri.
Aleka Adamian.
Mane Nazarian.
Justin Montier.
Ani Tankazayan.
Colin Kate.
Henrik Banasian.
Simona Matea Vishensky.
Hector Franco Jr.
Celine Afari.
Raina Patel.
Layla R. Shamtobi.
Joshua Sazinski.
Jessica Babaknia.
Stephen Suck.
Nina Alvarado.
Sam Caralejo.
Nare Nikolayan.
Lernui Maloyan.
Michael James Monroe.
Jacob Anthony Wolkin.
Thomas M. Rodriguez.
Fausto Polanco.
Gregory A. Dauber.
Thomas Sean Castro.
Yakov C. Raymond.
Sarah Fiskin.
Michael Robert Green.
Remy Larissa Halliburton.
Jonathan Daniel Feldman Green.
Ava L. Hargett.
Rachna Reddy.
Emily Curley.
Emily Epstein.
Samira Mozafari.
Siobhan Kelly Fogarty.
Maria M. Ibrahim.
Tigo Thomas.
Chandra L. Ingram.
Mohammed Al Safarini.
Dorza Mohammadi.
Miriam Babylonian.
Kyla Duvenary.
Morgan Jane Rojo.
Taylor K. Gilbertson.
Angel Jonathan Vasquez.
Anthony Jones.
Marina Alvarado.
Leo Misha King.
Maher Jahazian.
Phaeton W. Gibrod.
Clea Rose Elizabeth Hendricks.
J. N. Chung.
Christy S. Guglielmo.
K. Andre D. Starling.
Mariana Esquer Corona.
Philip McKenzie.
Kaylee L. Hennerty.
Alondra Gonzalez.
Tamaj Khalifa.
Andrea Diaz.
Andres A. Perez.
Brianna J. Berrigan.
Alexander Gagnon.
Lindsay A. Hoyt.
Anthony Armand Robert.
Natalie Gordon.
Charles Axel Hancock.
Talia Shapiro.
Brennan O'Boyle.
Mondri Rendenia.
Vega Carlson.
Manat Bilar.
Giselle Elizabeth Rojas.
Talia Yasai.
Jason J. Truel.
Ronica Yagubi.
Nicholas Cohen.
Shant Vartan.
Sasha Michelle Macias.
Derek A. Manukian.
Nadia Claudine.
Matthew Gorman.
Karen An. John Chung. Samuel L. Baker. Bai Shui Zheng. Victoria Ashley Gylum. Leor Vaknin. McKenna Marks. Kevin Chi. Douglas Clark. Joshua Aaron Dunner. George Luis Vasquez. Jacqueline Moreira. Carla Rizk. Angelica Ibinabo Kelly Dokubo. Sierra Denise Erdem. Naya Amani Brown. Jose R. Herrera Garcia. Keegan Gulati. Natella Maradian. Sophie Jackson. Adriana Bacalian. Magnolia Ramirez Cabada. Margaret Crystal Zaytunian. Margarita Hernandez Martinez. Jordan Calhoun. Harkiran Dillon. I remember you. Yasmin Bagarzadeh. Lily Bagarzadeh. Gabriela Perez Aguilar. Marilyn J. Valdez. And last but not least, Valerie Aguiniga Castro.
So I want to make sure that we've said congratulations to the Master of Science and Legal Studies students. And of course, finally, congratulations to our Juris Doctor candidates. Dean Estela Zarate will present the candidates for degrees from the School of Education.
Hello. I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Education. Will the candidates please come forward?
Yinka Dallas.
Amaris Jeanette Rivas.
Star Taylor.
Marisela Kinney.
Mercedes Yanez.
Kia Viana Johnson.
Elizabeth Dentville.
Stormy Sutton.
Hugh Patrick McLaughlin Stickley.
Angela Chang Roberson.
E. Travis Collier.
Jin Mongjim Mims.
Paula Kwok Jung.
Laura Elena Solis.
Joseph Weatherby Teague.
Janelle Gabrielle Jackson. Rebecca Rose Novalis Edwards.
Congratulations to our doctoral degree candidates. I am now honored to present the candidates for the degree of Education Specialist. Will the candidates please come forward?
Heather Joy Arches Salveron.
Carla Galvez.
Kara Ann Vardabedian.
Montserrat Archiga.
Odalis Arce.
Viviana Irene Cabrera.
Jeanette Maricel.
Anne Louise Volts.
Nellie Pamela Diarcos.
Dalia Berchi.
Lisa Paya.
Erica Jasmine Baldwin.
Monica Duarte Saravia.
Heidi Marja Turtu Lebanon.
Isabella Sofia Romanoli.
Mackenzie Nichols.
Mackenzie Renee Doty.
Alexa Delgado.
Natalie N. Thomas.
Ashley Duran.
Jennifer Simonel.
Marlene Guadalupe Flores.
Allison Ayako Mernon.
Jennifer Diana Page. Brianna Jaylene Mendez.
We gotta keep going.
Alyssa Marie Aldape. Jessie Taylor Dolores Sabayo. Ariana Jade Refermina Jusayan. Jaina Maureen Shrigwert. Tiffany Amber Hein T. Nguyen.
Congratulations to our Education Specialist candidates. And now I'm honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts. Will the candidates please come forward?
Manny Neeraj Kumar.
Alyssa Belinda Barnuevo.
Taylor Lucille Polk.
Mayra Contreras Garcia.
Emma Grace Sheridan.
Jasmine Sanchez.
Rebecca Rose Chermuk.
Alejandra Bedoy.
Patricia Viramontes.
Angelica Contreras.
Leslie Elizabeth Gill.
Hand me the card. Gracie Lynn Edler.
Nobleen Maria Ajanma.
Lauren Elizabeth Coles.
Frederick William Keith.
Brianna Christine Flores.
Samantha Sanchez.
Sophia Marie Smith Rossi.
Belen Elizabeth Puerto.
Fernando Lupien.
Jennifer Vasquez.
Andrea Padilla.
Amy Vasquez.
Cynthia Angelica Reyes.
Estefani Venegas Martinez.
James Peñalosa Martinez.
Jessica Dene Baez.
Armando Montoya.
Shayna Salcido.
Catherine Alicia Buck.
Evelyn Serrano.
Chrissy Nai Chen Yu.
Kathleen Elena Flores.
Molita Hong.
Alex Adriana Baez.
Samantha Marie Garcia Cruz.
Martin William Thompson.
Angelique Crockett.
Caitlin Francesca Halomo.
Christina Marie Archambault.
Esmeralda Juarez.
Diana Christina Gaitan.
Karen Ruby.
Angelica Jewel Key.
Michael Steve Raimundo.
Sofia Arroyo.
Elvis Giovanni de Jesus Jimenez.
Paola Minerva Clauditz.
Isabel Hugo Jimenez.
Emily Tony Valdez.
Celeste Torres.
Janelle Hoson Manuel.
Alexa Ripa Segura.
Megan Day Dupre.
Alexandria Trinidad Javier.
Davinia Parton.
Amanda Nicole Aguayo.
Charnel Lynn Thompson.
Melanie May Mendoza Ramirez.
Tiffany Michelle Espinoza.
Walter Ramirez.
Lucia K. Campos.
Brittany Destiny Ortega.
Jasmine Lomeli Aceves.
Estella Rezga.
Enya Saucedo.
Paul Daniel Callahan.
Grecia Marlene Ocampo.
Peter Tobechi Amati.
Savannah Alyssa Silva.
Hannah Shelburne Newhall.
Cindy Adiwijaya.
Antonio Goreca.
Kaylee Victoria Garcia.
Paulina Ajay.
David Ezekiel Montoya.
Claudia Mata.
Wesley Luke Dolan.
Ulysses Reyes Batista.
Ivana Judith Gutierrez.
Isabella Grace Zito.
Alma M. Canales.
Veronica Inola Robicho Pertuit.
Ana Rivas Maravilla.
Oscar Gonzalez.
Amber Rose Esparza.
Jacob Andrew Dolick.
Gregory Thomas Filson.
Guadalupe Solis.
Maria Miriam Zavala.
Janisa Madeline Casillas.
Lori Ann Costa.
Diane Lynette Cristobal.
Angelica Amador.
Guillermo No Gutierrez.
Yvonne Moreno Taylor.
Elisa Rosado.
Mary Jane Villamor Arizala.
Rachel Ritchie.
Jacqueline Suzanne Hines.
Hannah Kate Robinson.
Guadalupe Arvizu.
Laura Aguiar.
Janet Orozco Brown.
Abigail Louise Gevert.
Edgar Emilio Beteta Jr.
Lily Marianti Klein.
Giselle Cabrera.
Lauren Leah Moralo de Mondon.
Alpha Sochi Lopez.
Anthony Rojas.
Jennifer Martinez Montes.
Samuel H. Park Kim.
Aria Gabrielle Fulton.
Armando Romero Alonso.
Ariel Monet Nelson.
Leslie Gabriela Duarte.
Siobhan Maria Woods.
Annabelle Kashabi Yuri.
Lauren Catherine Tonke.
Edwin Giovanni Matut Rojas.
Julian Elijah Mattis.
Sharella Michaela Watson.
Alondra Margarita Vega.
Judas Horta.
Alexandra Rodriguez.
Melissa Garcia.
Francesca Lisa Wright.
Fatima Suarez Chacoteco.
Christina Elena Perez.
Mary Grace Gadula del Rosario.
Brielle Carmel Waddle.
Jonathan Natel Zamora.
Natalie Stephanie Tellez.
Teresa Lopez.
Jenna Ann Shake.
Samantha Marie Barajas.
Keontea Pace.
Brittany Laura Fernandez.
Evelyn Peña.
Angie Marie Lopez.
Lorenzo Zuniga.
Cassandra Lucia Pena.
Danielle Victoria Santos Velarde.
Carlos Alfredo Contreras.
Skylar Madison Victorio.
Teresa Mendieta.
Alexis Munoz.
Jessica Gutierrez.
Catherine Victoria Pham.
Gian Paulo Alamo Parades.
Yvonne Gonzalez.
Rodnisha Caldwell.
Bailey Marie Cowart.
Sarah Nicole Dennis.
Allison Ellen Avina.
Matthew Paul Gonzalez.
Jasmine Marie Ramos.
Rosa Gloria Vargas.
Stephanie Abigail Briseño.
Jose Daniel Rosales.
Micah Angela Belin Malibog.
Isabella Linda Flores.
Melissa Annette Vega. Kimberly Veronica Rodriguez. Anthony Castillo. Ramandeep Kaur Athi. Nicole Rendon. Priscilla Ariana Carrillo. Nadia Rayona Evans. Brandy Joa Williams. Azrina Ahmed Kumar. Laurel Hogue. Michael David Santos.
Sylvia Lizette Rosales. Lucia Lopez. Soledad Para. Ivan Gabriel Buenaventura Vecina. Wyatt Winfield. Warren Thomas Binder. Araceli Padilla. Maria del Carmen Ilazara Santos. And last but not least, Amani Davis.
Congratulations to our master's degree candidates. Dean Dale Smith will present the candidates for degrees from the College of Business Administration.
I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration, the Master of Science in Accounting, the Masters of Science in Accounting and the Masters of Science in Taxation, the Masters of Science in Entrepreneurship and Sustainable Innovation, the Masters of Science in Business Analytics, the Masters of Management, and our first interdisciplinary joint degree between two schools, College of Business and the School of Film and Television.
The Master in Entertainment.
In Leadership and Management. Will the candidates please come forward?
Kenya Sfredo.
Samuel Jameson Biner. Daniel Herman Ely Jr.
Stephanie Levy.
Jacob Harrison Freed.
Fahad Al-Khaled.
Dylan Franklin Tejada.
Victoria Brambila.
Sophia Alejandra Brown.
Matthew David Isidoro Moises.
Ashley Elizabeth Newton.
Matia Angela Ocampo Quimpo.
Willie R. Norfolk III.
Hugh Thomas Rupp.
Conyer Samuel Nosh.
Matthew Cameron Chin.
Winston Chen.
Henry Robert Lissner.
Jody Min Kwan Wen.
Savio Bretas Ragonesi.
Max William Owens.
Andrew Douglas Kreisen.
Oliver McGrath Sobieski.
Gino Chaudhary.
Christina Marie Mecklenburg.
Ornella Sorstein Darsil.
Samer Nassif.
Xiomara Isabel Vidal Marquez.
Aviva Agarwal.
Wan Chu Zhang.
Allison Kaylee Coward.
Yusuf Hazem Sadek.
Aiden Mina.
Jacopo.
Bardia.
Jacopo Denito.
Bardia Yousefi.
Abdul Wahab Alatiki.
Lynn Nudibu Mongella.
Yana Gerber.
Michael Spencer Adelson.
Sky Olivia Nankervish.
Ravleen Jeet Kaur Jajit Singh.
Baptiste Oliveri.
Kannak Wen Lee.
Ksenia Kniazeva.
Emily Gisette Peterson.
John Francis Gorman.
Ian Schubert.
Genaro Navarro Rodriguez.
Priscilla Marie Espinoza.
Malik Martin Aziz.
Ariana Alexandria Barajas.
Miguel Angel Baeza.
Nayeli Tamara Bermudez.
Jenna Lynn Black.
Gianna Renee Lawson.
Essa Al Ali.
Genevieve Roman Watkins.
Ryan Mohammed Islam.
Matthew Joseph Kolowski.
Christian Ortiz.
Willow Gracie Westbrook.
Sebastian Richard Nothaft.
Shahid Mehibahani.
Isabella Cherkis Zadeh.
Yannick Angulo Lopez.
Juan Carlos Lasig Roxas.
Sophia Andito Carroll.
Lori Adriana Juhadi.
Luis Carlos Otero.
Carter Philip Wilson.
Jai Caitlin Smith.
Sabah Harris.
Lauren Elisha Carter.
Michael James Monroe.
Andres Sebastian Gabor Heredia.
Michelle Cassandra Schaefer.
Hao Cheng Xiong.
Isabella Grace Husari. Tatiana Zvereva. Jillian Haley Butler. L. Annabelle Treem. Saba Zafar. Nina Mashloon. Aria Mashun. Evan Atticus Wilch. Devin Ornelis. Vinesh Nathan Sawani. Abdullah Al-Mutairi. Matthew Edward Richmond. Luke Jared Petrarca. Nicole DeCastro Petron. Michelle Maytal Mirshokri. Caitlin J. Glazer. And last but not least, Theophilus Asilfi.
Congratulations, MBA, MSCSI, MSBA, the MS in Management, and all our MELM candidates. Dean Tina Cho will now present the candidates for degrees from the Frank R. Seaver College of Science and Engineering.
I am honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Computer Science, Environmental Science, Healthcare Systems Engineering, and Systems Engineering and Engineering Management, Masters of Science in Engineering in Civil, Computer Engineering, Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, and Master of Arts in Teaching Mathematics. Will the candidates please come forward?
Alexis Brianna Mendez.
Noel Elise Anaya.
Genevieve Christine Kaminsky.
Matthew Richard McCall.
Aiden Lynch.
Danielle Alejandro Garcia.
Abdullah Ahmad Hussein.
Jody Min Kwan Win.
Mio Jha.
Destiny Alexia Gonzalez.
Emmanuel Joseph Rapuyan Tulusan.
Koleni Daniel Gameta.
Rafael Martinez.
Claire Sapna Srivastava.
Jacob Alexis Novoa Carrillo.
Kao Amdur Block.
Amenika Petrona Zuniga.
Abdullah Alali.
Dennis Ikine Anwalu.
Hamad Amunai.
Alan Joshua Samalin Gabbett.
Devarsh Jayeshbhai Patel.
Adrian Avia Arceo.
Harsh Rajran Kumar Ranpura.
Christian Federis Perez.
Hideo Carlo Ferrante.
Anthony Castillo.
Roberto Emmanuel Rea.
Aiden Jack Sruji.
Rin Lowe.
Aiden Bryce C. Dinocio.
Aaron Francis Picard.
Abraham David Moore Odell.
Warren Rio Benavides.
Subranil Pa.
Ario Benjamin Konevsky.
Natalie Keholani Lau.
Jingshu Shah.
Tobias Ainsley J.
Hang Guo.
Evan Yu.
Alejandro Ernesto Markovich.
McKenna Calais Robinson.
Heitan Shi Shah.
Charles Joseph Plantamoli.
Jeet Heron Desai.
Mike Magali.
Hardy Dave.
Joaquin de Cabañas Galindo.
Saloni Vaghela. Jenny Rakshpe Shah.
Peter Bukenya.
Pratik Doshi.
Devansh Patel.
Katan Sunil Patak.
Jasmine Nicole.
Ashley Marie Kobolinski.
Kenna Becker.
Emmanuel D'Estasio.
Adeline D. Abad.
Ebony May Alonso.
Cecilia Isabel Salazar. Jack Armand Calouste. And last but not least, Shapur Adil.
Congratulations to the candidates from the Frank R. Seaver College of Science and Engineering. Now I invite Dean Richard Fox to present the candidates from the Bellarmine College of Liberal Arts.
Thank you. I am thrilled to present the candidates for degree of Masters of Arts in the Bellarmine College of Liberal Arts. We have 5 programs: English, philosophy, pastoral theology, theological studies, and yoga studies. Will the candidates please come forward?
Sophia Madeline Tinoco Bernardino.
Mauricio Harigi Akala.
Citlali Viviana Luna.
Matthew Parshu.
Jordan Elizabeth Swartley.
Matthew Kwok.
Skylar Monet Prince.
Brendan Ween.
Trinity J. Catlin.
Annika Chen.
Jaden Elise Vines.
Hannah Luella Loper.
Ashlyn Elizabeth Wagner.
Aubrey Camille Casterline.
Kira Elizabeth Nunez.
John Paul Gower.
Hector Narciso Pineda.
Barry Gratton.
Ernesto Joel Vega.
Emily Grace Ward.
Marjorie Dialani Shahani.
Caterina Maria Luisa Garcia Dario.
Alondra Larios Jimenez.
Zi Ching Wong.
Catherine Orozco Valencia.
Laura Ann Passell.
Mayra Guadalupe Torres. Isiel Candido Barron. Erin Marie Escritor Reyes Leong. Marcelinas Odinaka Chukwumbata. Timothy Eli Follett Wainwright. Lynn Abbas. Katharina Hye-kyung Kim. Erica Elaine Romero. Rosemary Johnson. And last but not least, Bao Kwok Vu.
Congratulations, candidates from the Bellarmine College of Liberal Arts. Dean Joanne Moore will now present the candidates for degrees from the School of Film and Television.
I'm honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Production, Master of Fine Arts in Writing for the Screen, and Master of Fine Arts in Writing for Television Production. Will the candidates please come forward?
Ziorta Morales Barinuevo.
Angelique June Leacock.
Joshna Mutukumar.
Jerry William Gray.
Yawin Hu.
Trinity Ariel Jones.
Oke Marion Robert Gadulu.
Andrea Gabriela Gonzalez.
Jordan Amen.
Hannah Nicole Butler.
Alexandria Delois Ferguson.
Desmond Isaiah Lane.
William Givens Jensen.
Brett Da Silveira Cornwell.
Samuel Joseph Lee.
Andrew Lindley McKevitt Emerson.
Ethan Yates Peterson.
Jonathan Allison.
Parandya Shamar.
Anthony James Hubin.
Fenton Queens.
Brian A. Relaford II.
Noemi Boucher.
Brendan Richard Barrow. Sui Chin Hong.
Anna Chioma Ardubemi Oguma Richards.
Zhou Chin Agwang.
Emma Claire Benton.
Jiayin Jasmine Zhao.
Leland Michael Nelson.
Da Chin.
Christopher Cunningham.
Edmund Tita Agraham.
Sakari Penda Wright.
Megan Abigail Whittam.
Drew Jacob.
Brandon Monty Williams.
Andres Gonzalez Vega.
Yen Li Feng.
Edward Julian Ayala.
Yu Ting Jamie Dong.
Bei Chen.
Danny Mohammed Ali Nasuli.
Zherhao Hu.
Kaylin Manette Schonborn.
Dallin Thomas Agatone.
Matthew Joseph Troy.
Yan Yan.
Camilla Sophia Collingsworth.
Thaddeus Lamar.
Marcus Lindsay.
Raja Roy Diach Thabo.
Megan Laurel Fountain.
Ichang Xia.
Olivia Rose Perano.
Vijit Chagule. Omar Luis Melendez. Christopher Calvin Lunar Lee. Brene Kiana Daniels. Cameron Francis Marble. Jaydeep Reddy Niarabi. Douglas Hobbs Reynolds. Maria Regina Rios. Beatrice Del Pozo Diaz. Adria Rain Branson. Tucker Everett Somberg. And last but not least, Sim Hing Zhang.
Congratulations to the candidates from the School of Film and Television. Dean Brian Keith Alexander will present the candidates for degrees from the College of Communication and Fine Arts.
I'm honored to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts and Master of Fine Arts. Will the candidates please come forward?
Josefa Gonzalez Bennett.
Gregory Charles Jones.
Annalisa de Leon Evangelista.
Charlotte Evelyn Williams Roberts.
Max Wellmond.
Jenna Rose Newman.
Christy Lynn Brooks.
Jennifer Gutierrez.
Marissa Nicole Barajas.
Rowena Poculan Luminarias.
Alondra Yaravi Flores Baines.
Emily Jane Marie Camp.
Heather Arndt.
Renee Elizabeth O'Connor.
Vivian Marie Boyer.
Madeline Marie Brown.
Kelly Ann Sheridan.
Jacqueline Noel Tardy.
Emily Leona Rose.
Hannah Checkwicks Grosberg. Grace Dongju Se. Stephanie Heather McGinnis. And last but not least, Christine Eberly.
Congratulations to the candidates from the College of Communication and Fine Arts.
All right, graduates. I'd like to take this opportunity to share important announcements about the conclusion of today's program. After President Snyder officially confers your degrees, please remain standing as Julia Sawtelle leads us in the singing of LMU's alma mater, Hail the Crimson and the Blue. You may follow along with the lyrics on the back of your program card. After the alma mater, Faculty Senate President Brendan Smith will lead the university faculty and administration, followed by the graduate and LMU Loyola Law School class of 2025. Graduates, after the recessional, please take a few moments to meet with your faculty at the college and school receptions along Alumni Mall so they may congratulate you, meet your families, and wish you well. And now, please stand as President Snyder confers degrees to the graduate and LMU Loyola Law School class of 2025.
Students, everybody here is a student. Maybe a few loved ones back there. How about another round of applause for all of them? Dear students, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the state of California and by the trustees of Loyola Marymount University, and on the recommendation of your respective faculties, I now confirm on each of you who is eligible the degree for which you have been recommended with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to that degree. In witness thereof, you will receive from the university a diploma signed by the respective officers of the university. You've really put a lot into this. Class of 2025, let it out! Congratulations!
All right. Prepare for the singing of the alma mater with Julia Sawtelle. Okay. It seems that something happened to our singer, so we are going to have a special guest sing.
You're all singing.
Vice President John Sebastian.
You all owe me. So congratulations.
Oh, here she is.
There she is. We're singing together.
Hear the chapel bells implore us, turn our thoughts to LMU. Sing this song in joyful chorus, hail the crimson and the blue. Here together we develop life of the heart, the soul, the mind, living for and with all others, knowledge, justice intertwined. See the tower all admire, keep her brilliant light in view. Beacon on the bluff inspire all we can and ought to do. May our mission ne'er be forgotten, praise be the name of LMU. Hail to the crimson and the blue.
Of Loyola Marymount University. All right, let me say that again. This concludes the 113th commencement exercises of Loyola Marymount University. Congratulations, classes of 2025.